How's it going, everybody? Faerghast here in post-production. This is an interview with Alejandro Saab, aka KaggyFilms, who is the voice of Yuri from Fire Emblem Three Houses. We talked about playing Three Houses. We talked about Yuri's reception after Cindered Shadows came out, the differences between his past roles and then compared to Yuri. We transitioned from Fire Emblem to more so kind of his career. So we talked about YouTube, music, where he came from as far as acting and music goes. There was also some good life advice and some inspiration that I think you guys can take away from this interview. So if you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like and comment when you're finished with it. And if you're new to my channel and you like this video, please subscribe afterwards. And with that being said, guys, hope you enjoy this interview with Alejandro Saab. Deuces. How's it going, everybody? My name is Faerghast, and with me today is a very special guest, Alejandro Saab, or KaggyFilms, who is the voice of Yuri. What up, the Ashen
That's
Wolves?
me.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah, no, I actually, man, I bought that thing as soon as I saw someone made it on Etsy.
You're
I was
just
like,
it has to happen.
that's mine?
Yeah, and how's it going today?
It's going pretty good. Going pretty well. I'm not dying. That's good.
That's good. Yeah, don't want that to happen. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't do
know.
that during the interview. That'd look pretty bad. I know. I mean,
Oh,
the power of editing is great, but I don't think we can edit you back to life. and that's a wrap. Great interview.
That's the interview.
A man died today. So today is gonna be really fun. We're just gonna go over a few questions, and this is a really special interview for me because Kaggy had. Can I just call you Kaggy or Alejandro? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, either one. I'm okay with either one.
Cool. I'll call you Kaggy if that's cool.
Sure.
So he comes from like a very deep-rooted YouTube background, and speaking as a YouTuber myself, I'm really excited to kind of explore how he went from YouTubing to voice acting into kind of music and into kind of where he is now. But I mean, first things first, congrats on landing Yuri, of course.
Thanks.
So I'd like to give you a belated welcome to the Fire Emblem community. Yuri, the Ashen Wolves, the Cindered Shadows DLC is still very, very fresh in everyone's minds. So ever since you made the announcement, how are you feeling about the fan reception, about everything that's gone down?
It's really heartwarming to see everybody just like, oh my God, you were so good. And I'm like, was I? Great. Because I didn't think I was going to be Yuri. In all honesty, so when I auditioned for Fire Emblem, first of all, I never even thought I would ever audition for Fire Emblem.
Okay.
I just thought, it's like, okay, I mean, if it happens, it'll be cool. I thought I'd have to work my way, like, start with Fire Emblem Heroes, and then eventually maybe I'd get to be in the next IP.
Yeah, you'd be like the equivalent of like, you started in Dragon Ball as like a Frieza soldier, or like a soldier that like got tanked by Frieza.
Right, like I worked my way up, but no. It was really heartfelt. It's so heartwarming to see so many fans like Yuri as much. Yuri was trending twice on Twitter when the first time was when the trailer came out. It was so funny because it was Byleth and Yuri both trending. Everybody's losing their minds about how Byleth is in Smash, and either they love it or hate it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was really surprised it wasn't Dante, especially with how Byleth plays. But anyway, that's beside.
That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah,
We'll have you for a
the
part
Yuri
2
tag-
talking about Dante.
but seeing the Yuri tag, it was like almost unanimously loved, or it was either, oh, I love him, or it was, wait, that's a dude. That was, and it was so funny because I remember, if I remember right, in the audition he didn't have makeup on, or at least lipstick.
Oh, really?
He did have makeup, but he didn't have his lipstick.
Okay.
I think if I remember right. And the outfit was slightly different.
Really?
Ooh,
Behind
yeah.
the scenes. There was a beta Yuri outfit?
Yeah, it looked like it was just him without the cape. Like, you know how the house leaders all have that cape?
Yeah.
It looked like that. If I'm recalling.
Was it like concept art maybe?
It was probably early. Just like, it's like, do we want to? I don't know. Just a guess.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was one of those auditions where I looked at the art and I was like, I know this is Fire Emblem, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up and think this is Three Houses, because there's no way this is Three Houses. But here we are.
Turns out it was.
Psych.
Yuri and all of the Cindered Shadows DLC is like post launch DLC. What was there any sort of like different kind of process to voicing him versus like a standalone title? Like as if like imagine if you had Yuri voice like at launch or something.
Probably more recording, I'd imagine. Like I'm sure with like Joe, Chris, and Tara, they probably had like a year or a couple of months to record it all. We kind of, if at least for me, I recorded it all in like a month. Like there was like, you could have probably done it faster, but I remember I had to go to Japan like in the middle of recording, and I was like, because we started recording, like, cool. Can you come in next week? Nope, I'm out. And they're like, oh, well, have fun. But I remember that it took about, I want to say a month, maybe a month and a half. Just because like I feel like if it wasn't launch, that they would have had more supports, because I see that everybody's like, man, I wish that Yuri had a support with Ash or like the other house leaders and all this stuff. And same with the other characters, because they come from like all these houses that all intertwine with each other. Yeah. So I would just imagine it'd be more, you know, and I know that people are holding out hope that there's like more DLC or something. And I'm like, I would love that, but I have no idea.
Yeah.
Would I do a whole other route if that was the case? Absolutely. I'd play Fire Emblem Three Houses again for the third time just to see the supports. But yeah, I think it would just be more. And man, like recording Yuri was already a deep connection, but I feel like if I recorded him even longer, it would have been, it would have only just been deeper than that. You know?
Yeah. You actually, before landing Yuri, you've played Three Houses before.
Yes.
And you said that you played on normal casual, right?
On Blue Lions? Because I'm a casual.
On Blue Lions, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, was that your first time playing Fire Emblem?
No. It wasn't the first time I played Fire Emblem. It was the first time playing Three Houses.
Oh, okay.
But the last one I had played before that was Awakening, and I had played a bit of Radiant Dawn. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the GameCube one or the Wii one?
Wii.
Okay, then no, I played the GameCube one.
Path of Radiance.
Yeah, Path of Radiance. I never beat it because I always hated when my I was bad. I was really bad at Fire Emblem as a kid, and I still am kind of bad. But the point is that like I was never into the strategy or technicality of it all, so I'd always get my units killed, and I was like, oh, I don't want my units to die.
Yeah.
Because in GameCube Fire Emblem, when they're dead, they're dead.
Yeah,
there's no like, oh yeah, just train them up or whatever.
You can't divine pulse yourself out of this one, Ike.
No, exactly. Which sucks. Which is why I really liked Awakening, and I really liked and I really like Three Houses, because people like me who are really bad or just probably get stressed out about possible unit dying. Felix is probably my most overpowered unit.
He's a beast.
And but it's funny because my brother is the bigger Fire Emblem fan.
Okay.
I don't think he's played Three Houses yet, but he's played every single one. And I think because he started with the GameCube one, the one with the original one, then went to the Wii one, then he did Awakening. I think he did Fates, and then I think he's worked his way back.
Versus like a base route versus Cindered Shadows, which you also beat. Did you enjoy like the difference in difficulty? How did you find the contrast between modes?
So with Cindered Shadows, I streamed it, so I did have a little help from the chat a little. But the difficulty spike was astronomical. It was weird though, because for Cindered Shadows, because I was so used to Blue Line. So I'm gonna get into a little bit of spoiler thing. So I don't know.
Okay.
But basically with for me with Blue Lions, I didn't know that if you didn't recruit people, you'd kill them. So I think I just recruited Dorothea, and I think that might have been it. Like in my Blue Lions route.
Okay.
So because I was just like, screw them. This is my class. Like, and I'm like, but Dorothea, like the cut of your jib, come to my class. Like, of
over
course, I
here.
recruited the teachers or whatever, but
Yeah.
like Lorenz or like Linhart and like any other student, they're all like, "Ugh." I think the one that hurt the most was when after the time skip and you're doing like the blue Lions versus the Black Eagles, like they're all back in the same spot as the battle between the Lions and the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think I really tried to save Bernie. I really tried to save Bernadetta. I avoided her completely. I'm like, shoot me. It's okay. I'll forgive you. And I went around her and I went for Edelgard. And then Claude comes in from the other side and kills Bernie. And I'm like, yeah!
She didn't have a chance. She thought she was safe in her fortress, but she
Right.
was not.
But it was really interesting going to Cindered Shadows because I have never used Edelgard. I've never used Claude. I've never used Hilda. I had never used any of these other units, so I was just accustomed to Ash, Dimitri, and that was kind of it.
And Byleth.
And I mean, Byleth, sure, but like, but with Cindered Shadows, it made me realize that like, the Ashen Wolves are kind of a bit overpowered, and I love that. But I also realized so many techniques because before I was just like, willy-nilly, I'll just fight whatever, like it doesn't matter. And then people are like, you can break a monster's shields with Gambit, right? You can do that, right? And I was like, oh, is that what that's for? Like, I made things way more complicated than they needed to be.
Yeah.
And then, like, especially with the final fight in Cindered Shadows, I was like, God, how do people beat this? I'm in normal casual. And then, like, my chat was like, you could beat this in, like, 3 turns if you did this. And then I literally did that, and I was like, oh.
Chat was right.
Yeah, chat was right. Who would have thought? And now going back, because I'm playing my second playthrough, I'm doing the Golden Deer route, which I've just literally replaced the entire Golden Deers with the Ashen Wolves. Like,
yeah.
that's just like, the new sigil should be that a dead deer with a wolf eating it, because there's like, I think maybe 3 members of the Golden Deer in my team. I have Claude, Marianne, and Lysithia, while I'm using Constance, Happy, Yuri, and Balthus. And I also have Bernadetta in there.
You have to
I feel like I'm missing a unit. Oh, Byleth.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But those are my 10.
I'm doing only the Ashen Wolves and Byleth, and Yuri.
Ooh.
Yeah, Yuri is tearing it up right now.
Yo, Yuri is so. People, I streamed it the other day because I was just like, let's see what happens. And people were like, yo, you should use Felix, and I was like,
no.
I don't know. He's my highest level, and so. Oh, and Hilda.
And Hilda.
Sorry, Hilda's my 10. I was like, I know I'm missing one. I kind of want to make Hilda into a Fortress Knight, and then use Yuri to make her travel. Because I also gave him faster distance, so this man can literally like go across the entire map at times. So if I were to move him around and just, if I'm in proximity of Hilda, I could teleport her. So I'm like, ooh, this might be a strat.
Ooh, busting out the pro strats right now.
Yeah, I watching your videos, I was like, is this what is this a
Wait,
pro strat?
I could do that? Transitioning from Fire Emblem, I kind of want to talk about Dragon Ball and Shallot. So,
okay.
Many of my viewers may not know this, but you've actually been doing voice acting and for games and anime for about like 3 to 4 years. Is that?
Yeah, Yeah.
And a very popular character that you voice is Shallot from Dragon Ball Legends, which is,
sure
for those who aren't aware, it's the Dragon Ball game on mobile. So I'm actually not super familiar with the game or Shallot, but I was wondering if you could compare personality between Yuri and Shallot and whether or not you would think Yuri would make a good Saiyan and Shallot would make a good Ashen Wolf.
All right, well, Shallot as an Ashen Wolf, I'm gonna tell you right now, is just Balthus. It's a dumber Balthus.
Wow, okay.
I love Balthus's supports. They're
Yeah.
some of my favorite supports in the entire game.
For sure.
And I've seen a couple now. I'm still going through all the supports, but like Balthus has some of my favorite supports just with everybody. But Shallot is kind of like a meathead. He's all about fighting. He's not too knowledgeable because he's a Saiyan from the past. Okay. So he doesn't have any memories of his life in prior, and he's new to this futuristic world, aka modern world. So he's like, oh, I don't know what the hell that technology is. It's like, oh, what are you talking about with this? He's essentially just another Goku.
Okay.
So it's like he likes to fight, he likes to eat, and he gets pissed when his friends are hurt. Like that's Shallot.
Yeah.
And he's really cool. But honestly, if he was an Ashen Wolf, he'd just be another Balthus. Probably a Balthus that likes to eat more than gamble. That would be like the difference.
Fair enough.
But he would absolutely be a brawler. Like, I don't even think he'd use like claws. I think he'd just use his fists, which would be really cool to see. As for Yuri, that's a really interesting. Him as a Saiyan, I don't know. I think the closest thing to Yuri being a Saiyan would be like Goku Black, I guess. Like, but Goku Black isn't really a Saiyan. He's a deity possessing a Saiyan body. But it'd be in that vein, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Turles is like the most conniving of the Saiyans, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like, he's also he's filler, but like, he's part of a movie. But like,
I forget which movie that was. That was in.
Tree of Might.
Tree of Might. Is that an older one?
Yeah, that is like one of the first ones. That is during the Saiyan saga. I think.
Yeah, and he looks like Goku, right? Like he looks.
Yeah, he was the original Goku Black. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the whole. Essentially, the point of the movie was it's like you want to see what it would be like if Goku was evil, like was an actual Saiyan that didn't lose his memories. This is kind of what it'd be like. So maybe Caulifla. Funny enough. Kinda, but not really. Because Caulifla, she's more like Balthus.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the only reason it came to mind with Caulifla is because she's a gang leader, and like that was the only connection. If anything, all the Saiyans are more like Balthus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, everyone just like kind of fits a different version of Balthus. When you talked about like the announcement, like Yuri was trending and Balthus was trending. And then Yuri like was quickly becoming like a fan favorite. And then in my opinion, like I was really excited to play Yuri when it came out, but as I was playing through the DLC, I was really starting to like super appreciate his character. What do you and having played through Blue Lions and playing you said Golden Deer, right?
Yeah, I'm currently Golden Deer, and then I'm gonna do Black Eagle.
Yeah, and saying like and seeing Claude and how he kind of does his thing, what do you think makes people drawn towards a character like Yuri?
Apart from the makeup.
Yeah.
And apart from being bisexual, because you can date him whether you're male or female.
Yeah.
I think it might be his sass. Because it's Claude is sassy, but in like, and don't take this to heart. I'm just realizing this because I'm playing Golden Deer. It's kind of like douchey, like kind of a douchey sass. Because there's like different qualifications of sassiness.
Yeah.
Like when I was first playing Golden Deer and I was experiencing how Claude was, I was not liking his C supports. I was like, man, this guy's pissing me off. I realized that with a lot of the Golden Deer C supports. They were like pissing me off, but why is everybody picking on Ignatz? Leave him alone.
Oh, everyone bullies Ignatz, man.
Yo,
everyone bullies him.
God, the Claude and Ignatz supports really upsets me. Both C and B. The B one where he's like, oh yeah, pray to your goddess, and then I'll be there and I'll show her a good time. I'm like, yo, let him know. He's got that charm, he's sassy.
Like that kind of like rascalish kind of behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
Yuri, when he's sassy, it's almost like Yuri is sassy in different ways to different people.
Yeah.
Like he's a different sassy with Constance, and he's a different sassy with Bernie. Right. So it's just so weird, but I think that's why people like these characters so much. Because they're sassy, because they bring something new to the table, because they're not just like, oh, we're one note. Like, this is the one thing we're known for, and this is like, blah, 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 blah. Like, apart from their charming looks and makeup and stylish hair, there's layers to these characters. And that can be said for a lot of the Fire Emblem roster. which is what I'm realizing as more I play the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with these two specifically, like Yuri and Claude, because they're so similar.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, they go their own ways. And that's why some people are like, oh, I like Claude for this reason, or oh, I like Yuri for this reason.
Kind of like what you said, like he has a different sort of sass, but also he clearly comes from a different place than Claude, and
right.
like he's so surprisingly like aggressive and like territorial, and like he's a gang leader. Like that took me by complete surprise.
Right.
It was like, holy, okay, like he's sassing it up, he's like looking like this pretty boy, and also he'll like fuck your shit up like really bad.
Right. Like out of nowhere, like he'll be like, oh, we're having a good time. Yo, if you touch my goddamn friends, I'll shank you right now.
That's literally him. Yeah.
I'm sassy, but he's like, yo, I care about my friends. And one of the lines that really resonated with me, because a friend of mine was dealing with this. So in the game, spoiler, if you haven't played it, Gerald dies,
Yeah.
right? And a close friend of mine at the time, their parent had passed away. And I remember when that line came up, because Yuri, if you talk to Yuri during that time, Yuri says something along the lines of, yo, take your time. It's okay to grieve. It's like, it's whatever you need, take the time to mend. And I remember when I was saying those lines, I pictured my friend, because I was like, man, this hurts. But I feel like this is like the right words to say. Like, mind you, what I said is not as nearly as like, sentimental and as endearing as how Yuri says it. But if you're playing the game, I highly recommend that you talk to Yuri during that time, because every character has their layers, and I really like the layers that Yuri has.
Mm-hmm. I would assume like Yuri's your number one, like your number one favorite.
Yes.
Who's your second?
Well, yeah, I'm being biased.
Who's your second favorite Ashen Wolf?
Ashen Wolf? I love them all. I really do.
Uh-huh.
Balthus is just up by so little. Oh my god. Yo, I love Happy and I love Constance, but Balthus, oh my god. He's just Bash Bro. I can't help it. Yeah, I love Balthus to death, especially like after watching his supports. Like, even while recording, like I was like, yo, man, I really like Balthus, like just like his character. And then playing the game and seeing all his supports with everybody, and not just Yuri and Happy and Constance, but seeing it with like Scythia and Byleth and all these other characters. Even his paralog mission, is that what they're called?
Yep.
Yeah, I just did that last night, and I was like, man, like, he's just such a good character. And there's one support where he's like, I think it's to Happy. Happy's like, well, I'm cursed. You saying I should deal with this or whatever? And he's like, nah, bro, I'm saying that if tomorrow I die, then I die. But that's just me. I'm not telling you how to live your life. This is how I live my life, because this is what I chose to do. Everything that's happened in my life, it's my fault. Not because of some cosmic thing that happened out in the world, because I made bad decisions. I did this. I ran away. So it's all my fault. And I'm like, yo, you just came off as like some guy that gambles, and now you're like, nah, man, I'm a real man. And I was like, all right, Balthus, damn.
Yeah, he really holds himself accountable for a lot, and like it is pretty cool how like you get this idea that he's like this just kind of, I wouldn't say brainless, but like a really
but he's so smart.
Guy. But he's a smart,
he's
like
so smart and clever, especially like with the Claude support. It's like, hey, Claude, like this thing, and then he's like, Claude's playing dumb or whatever, and it's like, that's really interesting, but
yeah,
in reality,
he just
like this,
just plays him, and he's like, oh well.
Yeah, he plays the idiot, but he's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about Balthus.
All right, Yuri, Balthus, and now your favorite non-Ashen Wolf.
Non-Ashen Wolf? Ooh, it's like a tie between like Bernadetta and Dorothea. Oh no, and Annette! Ah!
This is like the pinnacle problem for Fire Emblem Three Houses fans.
Yeah.
Like, who is my favorite?
Male-wise, I can tell you male. Male, it's Dimitri.
Nice.
Absolutely Dimitri. Female, that one's tough. I don't, so So I don't want to, because fans are warning me. I'm really digging. I don't know why. I'm really digging Rhea.
Oh.
But I know. Yeah, dude. You see.
Okay.
But I'm just starting to do her supports now, so I'm uncovering things slowly. So I'm not saying Rhea now. When I finish all 4 routes, then I'll say if it's Rhea or not. But for now, it's like a tie between like Dorothea, Ned, and Bernie. Those 3 are like really hard to choose from.
Okay, fair enough. Of those 3, my pick is Annette.
Oh God, what Blue Lions? I was like, my little warlock.
Yeah, she's so fun. We're gonna taper off a little bit from Three Houses stuff.
Sure.
And now I kind of want to talk about more of YouTube and voice acting in particular.
Sure.
So when I was prepping for this interview, I looked back at some old videos and then I went through a few playlists. And there was one video that I really, really found quite interesting. And it was the one where you announced 2 years ago that you would be playing Shallot.
Okay.
And that was quite a special video because you're a huge Dragon Ball fan.
Yeah.
And in that video, like you were like obviously like super happy and like your boys were like calling in and like you were chatting it up with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And like one of your friends said like, what's it like to make it, or like you've reached it or something. And then you were like, you said something along the lines of like you didn't make it, but rather like this is just the beginning. And that was 2 years ago. And now 2 years later, how has the career been since you had that Shallot announcement?
Well, since then, I've moved to Los Angeles, so that's the only way I got this opportunity to even be. So, but it's been going really well. There's a lot of things I can't announce yet because non-disclosure agreements, but it's been going incredibly well. And even then, I still don't think I've made it. I don't know what the finish line is, and I don't want to know what the finish line is, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of at a point where I just love doing what I do, and I never want to stop. To one day, if I ever, for some reason, say I've made it, then I guess, but I don't think that day will ever come. I don't think I'll ever think I have made it, because there's always something new.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that I don't appreciate what I have and what I've done, but it's more me being ambitious and never wanting to keep growing. I never want to settle. That's just my mentality.
Yeah, for sure. And it's I would imagine like being an actor and having like crazy opportunities come up out of nowhere. And like having that, like, I guess if I were a voice actor, and I wouldn't want to like try to have like an Everest mentality, because like you never know what's coming around the corner, right? And it could be something that you really love. And voice acting and acting in general, I would imagine, is just one of those things where as long as you have a great passion for it, like there's no finish line. There's just like the journey. And that sounds super corny, but that's kind of
no. I was sounding corny, so don't even worry about it.
And now I kind of want to chat about YouTube itself. So I was really inspired by kind of where you came from, and to have started on YouTube making videos since 2011. So like literally almost a decade of making videos, and leaving your degree behind and then pursuing your passion for voice acting. And on top of
your research,
I'm a sleuth, man. I'm a sleuth. And on top of everything, you also have like a really, really enormous passion for music. In case you guys don't,
funny enough,
and in case you guys don't know, Kaggy has a separate channel called We.B that does anime and video game music covers.
We.B or Weeb. That's the joke.
I see. Weeb. Yeah, that makes sense.
We.B Weebs.
I have a couple questions off this. First of all, what was it that drove you to start making YouTube videos in the first place? And secondly, where did the passion for acting and voice acting and music come from?
Sure. For YouTube itself, I think I was in middle school, and before KaggyFilms, I had a different YouTube channel with some buddies of mine, which I think I deleted because I was like, this can never be shown to the light of day.
This can never surface again.
Yeah, it was just me and a bunch of friends like doing a bunch of like stupid YouTube videos and like skits, but they weren't really. We just filmed and like improv dumb crap. We were just playing fun and pretending. But we'd always hang out at a bus stop, so we called ourselves Bus Stop Boys Production, which was terrible. I think it was due to watching Red versus Blue from Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
It was the first time that I realized that it's like, oh, people do this? It was just something that I was like, whoa, people can do this? That's so cool. And I got kind of interested, and I started doing research as to how people could do this. And I first started off, the reason why my channel is called KaggyFilms, when I first started off, I used to make machinimas, which are in-game engine films. So you would make a film using Halo or Gears or like any video game really. Like, I don't know, if you wanted to, you could even do one on Fire Emblem. I don't know. But I used to make Halo machine. And the reason I'm started out this way is because it kind of leads into the acting part.
Okay.
So I was never like, oh man, I'm gonna be a diehard voice actor from like day zero, right? When I was a kid, my mom, she would have me do, I lived in Ecuador. I'm Hispanic and I'm from Ecuador. But when I was a kid, she would have me, they would have me, they had me on like 3 different commercials or whatever.
Okay.
Like I was never, like, yes, this is what did it. This is what drove my passion. No, I don't even remember doing those commercials when I was a kid. But leading into machinima, I never had actors, or like when I first started out, so I kind of did the voiceover myself, or when I found out I could do it. But a buddy of mine, his name is Dave, he goes by Tess Spearhead on YouTube. He asked me to, he's like, hey man, could you voice a cop for me? And I was like, you know, I'm like 14, right? And he's like, no, it's just one line. And I was like, but, all right. And I did this cop, and I'm still going through puberty, so my voice was a lot higher. And I was just like, oh man, this sounds awful. How can I fix this? Oh, a pitch filter. That'll do great. So it sounded like, hold on, I can do this. Hold on.
Really deep in that pitch.
Hold on. Wait. All right.
So Santa Arachne is finally dead.
I have a preamp that lets me do that. Anyway, it sounded muffled and it sounded staticky. I was using a Rock Band mic, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody's talking about, oh, I used to have the Blue Yeti. I used to have the Blue Snowball or whatever. I'm like, I had the Rock Band mic from the game Rock Band, and I would tilt it to the side and just talk in. That's what I did. But he asked me to do that, and at first I was like, what the hell is this? You know, and he's like, oh, it's just voice acting. You know, you're just doing voiceover. And I was like, oh, neat, I guess. And with time, I would just, you know, read the lines, and I wouldn't pay any mind to it. But as I got older, I started to have more fun with it. And he like a year later, he asked me, it's like, hey, are you still using that pitch filter? And I was like, no, why? Like, your voice is deeper now. So I just wanted to know, but it didn't sound muffled as before. And I was like, oh, neat. But there was this whole year in my junior year of high school where I had an entire free period. So because I was a teacher's aide,
Okay.
because that was the, that was like, oh yes, for a single period, you get to help out a teacher for the whole class. And it's like, okay, that doesn't sound terrible. They paired me up with a teacher that didn't have a class that period. So the teacher's just like, you could just nap or whatever, catch up on homework. I don't care. I was like, really? Dope. So like, she even's like, if you want, you could even go to other classes. I'm not gonna. And I was like, neat. So that was the year that I got really into like wanting to get into voiceover, because I had done voiceover with my friend for a while, and I was like, is this something I want to do? You know, like, and I started listening to podcasts, like Voice Acting Mastery and like all these other ones. And was like, sounds interesting. Maybe I'll look more into it. And then I started to get more interested. I started to look for stuff online, and when Voice Acting Alliance was still around, I would do auditions there. For my senior year of high school, I signed up for drama, theater writing. I ended up performing on stage, and from there it just grew.
Yeah.
Because for most of like even in middle school, because of Rooster Teeth and because of Red versus Blue, it's like I really want to get into animation. So I would like doodle and draw, and like I still draw from time to time, but like I thought that was gonna be it. I thought animation is my goal, and I'll work for Rooster Teeth one day, like blah blah blah. Like I was just like, I want to do it. Didn't happen. I went to college. I dropped out. I don't recommend dropping out to students if you're trying to be a doctor or a lawyer. Don't recommend that. But I did it because I didn't want to do animation anymore. I remember I finished an entire year, and I was like, this isn't what I want to do.
Mhm.
Because for me, it's always like, I gotta have fun with what I want to do, especially if I'm good at it. So, because if I'm good at something but I'm bored, I don't want to do it, especially for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And that's just my mentality. Everybody has different mentalities. Like, you don't have to live by my words. Like, I'm just saying. But I dropped out, and I was at a pretty good animation school. I was at Savannah College of Art and Design, aka SCAD, which is in Savannah, Georgia. And I was studying with Disney animators and stuff, but I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And then eventually I moved to Texas. Like after I dropped out, I moved to Texas. Had some friends there too, and they recommended me for Funimation.
Oh, cool.
And then about a year ago, I moved out here, and I think, I mean, the rest is history. But the funny thing about my friend who asked me to do that cop voice, I told him like a year ago or two, I was like, that like, I'm here because of you, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, you're full of crap. And I was like, dog,
Let me tell you about
Academia. I'm like, watch My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, like all these shows where I play cops, and tell me that isn't what I did for you. And he's like, you're gonna make me cry. And I was like, oh, fuck, you gave me, like, I'm here because you were like, hey, you want to be a cop? Like, and he still doesn't believe me to this day.
Wow.
But I continue to tell this story over and over, just because, like, one thing leads to another, and then it leads to another.
Yeah.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah. That's actually a really, I find that actually kind of an inspiring story. How only one thing can just change your dynamic and then just snowball into something else.
Yeah.
Like if someone,
it really is crazy.
if someone is like, and that's just like a new thing that you did, right? Like you were like, okay, I'll voice a cop, and then
Yeah. No, I mean, I was 14 at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I'll play video games, but
yeah.
I mean that seems to be the track record for most of my YouTube career, really,
Yeah.
or just my career in general. Like, someone's like, "Hey, have you thought about doing this or thought about doing this?" Because after I did Machinimas, a friend of mine, he was like, "Yo, you want to do commentaries?" And I was like, Psh, "Commentaries? I'm beyond commentaries on you over video games." And it's like, really? Because I think you're really funny when it comes to just. Your reactions are really funny when it comes to just playing video games. It's like, I guess. And then we did one for Machinima when Machinima was around, and it got really popular. And I was like, yo, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
But you can make
And
money
then that
off this?
evolved. Yeah, you can. I'm like, whoa, wait. I can make money. but like, I had fun. And then eventually the same thing happened with reaction videos, and I react to videos now. And with music, my friend Amanda Lee, or Amelie on YouTube, we were hanging out one day, and she's like, "Oh, you sing?" And I was like, "Kinda." Like, I mean, I haven't really like taken classes or whatever, but I want to, just to have that on my resume for VO. And she's like, "Oh, you should do covers." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, fuck it, do it." I was like, "Okay," and I did it, and here I am.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it literally is like just, my life has just been like, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And then I do it. And then, and man, that sounds so egotistical. Like, I don't mean it that way at all.
No, I think that I would say the takeaway here is like if I were to tell someone who's watching who might kind of feel lost or kind of in a bind, and like
Right.
they're kind of in like kind of a like they're a little stagnating right now. Like try some new stuff. Like you never know what the next thing is going to be, or like you never know if the next thing you want to try. Like what I want to do this year is I want to start brewing, like cider and beer. Yeah, I've never done it before, but I really want to try it. Or like, and I'm learning to play guitar as well.
That's
I've
really cool.
never played an instrument, so like I'm just like trying new things, and maybe one of these new things I'm gonna do is gonna like lead into something else. But you know, it's always fun to just like try new shit.
Yeah, because
And you never know what's
everybody
gonna
always
come.
asks, it's like, what advice do you have for someone that wants to start YouTube or wants to start voiceover? And it's honestly like super simple. Just do it. Like it's such a simple answer, but like it's like once you start and you're really passionate about it, you will seek the answers. You will look for answers. You will. It won't just be like, okay, I guess I'm doing it. Oh man, why isn't it working? Like if you put yourself out there, like and you bust your ass, I mean, you know, try again until you succeed.
Yeah, I think for people who are afraid to try new things or afraid to invest their time in a new endeavor, it's like when I actually have a series called. I have to burp 1 sec. That's not what the series is called. I have a series on my channel called Support Science, and it is a series where I do like full-on like thesis character analysis for like Fire Emblem characters. And
that's really cool.
And thanks. And when I first started, when I was in this like concept phase, I was like, man, how am I gonna do this? Or like how I have to like wait till I do this, or like when I have free time to do this or whatever. And it's like you get caught up like in thinking about what you want to do so much where you like really overcomplicate the process, where it's not a matter of like making a 5-year business plan. It's like just start and like be bad at it at first and then like get better at it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That when like I'm sure like you as a YouTuber, obviously you get people asking you like, hey, like how do I start this? And
no, and that's fine by me. Like I mean, when I go to cons, I have a YouTube panel specifically for those reasons, because I know even to this day, and I'm sure eventually I'll be like, how to start live streaming. Something.
Click OBS. Click start.
Here are your programs of your choosing. Pick one.
Here is an editor you can pirate.
I don't condone pirating.
Me neither. Okay. And continuing on with that passion for covers. In a tweet, I want to say maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, you said that you wanted to make We.B. I'm like totally like just journaling your entire life right now. It's like, so you said this at this time. What did you mean? But I actually was curious because like obviously you're running 2 channels, maybe more, I'm not sure, but like the main KaggyFilms and then there's We.B.
Right.
But you also said that you wanted to start like prioritizing and making We.B. your main channel.
Yes.
So what exactly is the reason behind trying to go for that switch?
It's just fun. Like, and all as simplistic as it sounds, I've been doing the gaming stuff for so long, and even the reaction stuff, like, for so long that I just, you know, I always want to try something new. And I think We.B, like, I mean, apart from money reasons, like, I mean, and it is an investment because I'm paying like people to do the instrumentals, the mixing, and writing, and even my editor to make visuals for the videos.
Yeah.
As well as like a licensing fee and all that. Like it's quite an investment, but it's one of those. It's like I know this is gonna be hard at first, but in the long run, I think this will be like just what I enjoy more. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy the gaming and the reactions that I do, but it's just one of those. It's like, you know, you've been doing something for so long that it just becomes habit. But then there's like this new thing that becomes like your passion, you know? And it's like, for me, I'm just having a lot more fun doing the music. And it's like me going to the gym recently. I started going to the gym recently, and I'm just like, and I've been sick for like a week now, and I wasn't able to go to the gym, and I'm going through withdrawals. Same with like singing. it's almost like an addiction at this point. Because I'm quite the workaholic, and all my friends are like, "Can you just like chill?" Like you find a way to make your life like less stressful, and then you add something else to it. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I like to work. So yeah, like I don't know, like my friends always give me crap, like, but they it's all in good fun. But
Yeah.
they're always like, you're always doing something. And I was like, I don't know, I just like to keep busy.
Yeah.
I don't know. And when I don't, I'm playing Fire Emblem. This is not a sponsor, by the way. It's just what I've been doing for the past week.
I can't stop help. Would you ever consider doing a cover for a Fire Emblem track?
You know, so I don't know how many Fire Emblem songs there are. I kind of. This is how quickly I go and press continue on the game. I didn't know that the game had an intro. Three Houses had an intro. And then I heard the song and I was like, wait, this has an opening? So I know that Fates had one. And I love the cover that my friend Amanda Amalie made like a couple years ago. And I was like, yo, this is like so cool. But I thought those were the only two songs that Fire Emblem has. I may be wrong, but it's also tricky doing like going from female to male, like because you'd have to like change the key and all this stuff.
Yeah,
but
the only male vocal that I could possibly think of, aside from like the crazy opera stuff that happens.
Oh, right, fuck.
It's like You Are the Ocean's Gray Waves, but it's sung by Matt Mercer, who plays.
What?
Yeah,
he did that?
Yeah, because he voiced.
No, I gotta look that up. I haven't heard it.
I think it is because he voices Shigure, who is
right.
Yeah, and he had to sing it for the DLC, and he sung the song. Yeah,
I gotta look that up. I haven't heard that.
I'm just gonna fact check that right quick, because
cut this out if it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so he does. Do
wow,
that.
He sings it. All right, I'm gonna look that up after.
Yeah.
The problem I have with like female to male.
Yeah.
I try to match the note the female does.
Okay.
And it never sounds good. Even with the key change, I still try. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, if that would be a pretty fun challenge to see if you could like do a cover of the Three Houses theme with just like the lyrics, but it's yours. Yeah, it's you like covering.
That one I might be able to, because I heard a bit of it, and it's not. Mind you, I haven't heard the full thing, and I don't know if there's like some. Like.
Well, there you go. That's the key. You got it.
But because I know that Yuri has an angelic voice, and I'm just like, I don't think I have an angelic voice, but okay.
Give it a thought.
Yeah. Because I have been asked this. Asked
yeah?
Yeah.
I imagine like your chat's being like, hey, can you like cover this?
More on Twitter, actually.
Oh, fair. Yeah, Twitter is kind of crazy for
Yeah.
weird requests.
One of them was, could you voice Yuri in Spanish? Because they found out that I'm Hispanic. Like a lot of people, they're like, oh, wait, you're Latino? Bro, what? And I was like, yeah, my first name doesn't. I know, I'm white.
They thought like they couldn't like pick up like Alejandro and Saab being.
Yeah, you would think.
What are you excited for career-wise and in your personal life?
Getting a house, not buying one, but renting one.
Mm-hmm.
That is the determination this year, just because I like my apartment, but I really want to have a bigger space, especially when my girlfriend comes down from Canada finally, their whole visa thing, and she brings my dog so he can have a backyard and stuff like that. Awesome. Career-wise, announcing all the stuff that I haven't been able to announce yet, but
of course,
God, I don't know. It's so hard. Like, one of the things that I would love to be a part of is Persona, because Persona has easily shot up to being one of my favorite games. My favorite game of all time is Psychonauts, and I'm still waiting on Psychonauts 2. Double Fine, please, this year. But I finally beat Persona 5 last year, and I can't wait for Royal, and I would love to be in. It doesn't have to be 5, like
Right.
in the 5 universe, but at some point in my career, whether it be this year, next year, 10 years from now, to just be in Persona, I think.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so at the end of all these interviews, I just want to give the floor to you once more. If there's anyone who you wanted to give a nod to or a shout out before we kind of wrap things up here.
Hi, Mom! No. How many people have done that? How many?
None.
What? Really? How?
Yeah.
All right. To anybody watching, thank you so much for welcoming me into the Fire Emblem community. It has been a blast, and thank you to all the fan artists, because I love all the art, whether you support Yuri and Bernie, Yuri and Ash, Yuri and Dorothea, Yuri and Byleth, whoever, even Yuri and Dimitri, which is whatever. Florida boys, shout out to my boy Chris Hackney.
Hey.
Yeah, like, thank you guys so much for having me in the community. It's really heartwarming and humbling to be in such a crazy fandom, and I absolutely love it. So,
That's wicked. That's great. Well, guys, that is going to wrap things up for the interview. Hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Like in the video, Kaggy's YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram is going to be linked down below, as well as his Twitch. And so is We.B the Weeb channel.
We.B the Weeb.
That's also going to be linked down below. If you like this video, please leave a like and comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe for more. And with that being said, guys, hope you enjoy the rest of the month, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.
Pew pew.